Hey friends, good evening. Happy Monday, April 3, 7 p.m., 54 degrees Fahrenheit here in New York City. And at this very second, we are by Hudson Yards. We're actually by the Javits Center, right over here. But the sun's about to set, so I figured we'd walk a little bit closer to the water, go see what's going on with that. ABX, Colleen, good to see you both. Let's walk around these folks. Oh, look at that beautiful sky. Walks in camera, Ethan, Ramona, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I was really hoping this was open. Currently closed for rehabilitation. Welcoming back in winter 2023-2024. Okay, so I guess I won't be trying that entrance again for a while. I just thought it was like when summer came around, or spring, it might open back up. I guess not. Gal and Tom Frank, Kendall, Justin Norell, Cool Aunt, Sam Jackson. Everybody's tuning on in. Thanks everybody for being with us. My original plan was to, we'll head over to the High Line in a little bit, but sunset is soon. And we were, 90% of the way to the water, so why not go by the water for a little while? Manny, you guys have to listen to the theme song that Manny wrote for us. I posted it in the community page. He sang it, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 times. So I hope you'll check that out. Noble Sweetness, Sal Muscles, Mika back home. If I missed you, I apologize, welcome. Light is just about to change. Is it just about to change? All right, well, we'll be cool like these folks. Other lane was going left, so we're okay. And we're good. So I always tell you guys this is, pedestrians have the right of way here, but people very, very rarely stop, so just be super careful. Oh, there's one of the helicopters coming in for a landing. So again, plan is to do the High Line. Season has changed, so the High Line no longer closes at 7, it now closes at 10. But since the sun is setting literally as we speak, why don't we go to this state park right here? We'll go out over the water and we'll watch a little bit of the sunset, and then we'll head back in. Ooh, and you can see a ferry going by. Beautiful. Yeah, everybody go check out Manny. We also have another YouTuber in the chat, Walks in Camera, who visited with Little Amal in London. We love Little Amal, so go check that out as well. Endless amazing content on YouTube. Ian's asking how we're doing. We're doing great. We're doing great. How are you doing? Yeah, the sky, the colors tonight are spectacular. So it's, let me look at the watch, 7:05 p.m. and sunset should be at 7:22 by my watch. So we're going to cut into here, Pier 76. We very, very briefly visited this on a recent stream, and we just popped in just a little bit. Today we'll go to the end. Ooh, check it out there, full sunset. And thank you, Sal. Weather for New York City. Conditions are fair. Temperature 54 Fahrenheit, 12 Celsius. Wind is blowing from the south 10 miles an hour, and the current humidity 57%. Yeah. As I came over, there is some decent wind today, but it looked like it was tapering. And I originally had brought a new mic for us to test, but I changed my mind because I don't yet have the wind cover for that one. So that ferry that we saw moments ago, the last walk we did on the Hudson River, we then took the New York City ferry and got some pretty incredible views of Lower Manhattan. So that's that same boat, or at least the same route. This is pretty cool. There's like nobody here though. There's all sorts of new things to do on the waterfront here on the west side of Manhattan, and not a lot of people using it yet. So if you want very nearly your very own park, here you go. It's kind of interesting looking, isn't it? Almost to the end here. This is quite a long pier. Quite a long pier. So our sunset is going to be obscured a little bit by these buildings over here, but we get the colors. We'll still have the beautiful colors. Let's make our way all the way to the end. Let's go to that little sign. There's all sorts of plaques and signs in here. Marty, welcome. Chris MG, good to see you. Taxi cab asking, what is this pier for nowadays? So it's Pier 76. It's a park. You know, it's kind of an unusual park, as you can see, because it's mostly concrete. But I see some skaters and stuff, so I wonder if it's, I don't know, I'll have to do some reading on it. Like, I wonder if they'll do some events in here. Stylish Bunny, ABX. Beautiful. Let's zoom in a little. Now we're talking. Stylish says, what pier? Pier 76. If anybody wants to look up Pier 76 and see how they envision people using it, because it is funny that it's like all concrete. Like, it'll be good for running, it'll be good for skating. But I'm curious if they had planned events or anything. So let's let me go to normal. So that's our sunset at the moment. Let me walk and face south. So you can see in the very far distance, One World Trade Center. we should be able to see the Statue of Liberty behind this boat. Let's give it. Yeah. Okay, let's go all the way in. As the boat reverses, you'll see the Statue of Liberty come into frame. There she is. There she goes. So she's a ways down there. And then this is where we're going to head in a little while, which is Hudson Yards. And with the sun coming down, the color on that is beautiful, isn't it? Gorgeous. And in a second, with the sunset, you're going to see the one of the Circle Line boats come into view. Stylish says it used to be toe pounding usage. They cleared it out in June 2021 as a new place for recreation. Oh, that's interesting. So they went they did the cost-effective approach, which is just they just cleared it out. They gave it a nice paint job. Got the state colors. Maritz is here from Norway. Good to see you. Welcome. All right, my friends. Beautiful colors over here. Let me show you the north side, and then we'll start heading in, and we'll go hop on the High Line, where we will continue to get some nice views. But let's quickly go over this side so I can show you what's over here. Yeah, Manny, it's really nice, the colors tonight. And speaking of colors, if you're newer to the channel or you haven't checked it out yet, I posted last night, I guess, a walk in Central Park where the cherry blossoms and stuff have really come out. Oh, Stylish says it held Tribeca Film Festival. That's interesting. Interesting. So we're facing north now. George Washington Bridge in the far distance. It's on my to-do list, my never-ending to-do list to walk. I've never walked the George Washington Bridge. It's been on my list for a very long time, but they recently redid the walking and bike path. Supposedly it's much nicer, safer, etc. So I'm looking forward to that. The Intrepid is right there. And again, if you were with us on our last Hudson River live stream, this is where we picked up the New York City ferry. In fact, that's the New York City ferry right there, number 2, which we took to Battery Park City. Always recommend the New York City ferry. It's $4 a person. There's various discounts that some people are eligible for, or you can get 10 rides, I think, for a discounted rate. I really recommend the New York City ferry. Stylish says it took $20 million. So that's the stuff that I find crazy. Like, they gave it a paint job, they cleaned it up. How did that add up to $20 million? One day someone will need to explain to me how that cost $20 million. There goes the New York City ferry boat. Wow, the sky is just beautiful tonight. Murray. Not yet. RJ's in the house. All right, so we're gonna head back off the pier. We'll walk up 34th Street over to Hudson Yards. Oh guys, the moon is out. Really big. There's the moon. Beautiful. So walk along 34th, we'll go over to Hudson Yards, and then we'll pick up the High Line. High Line is now open. I'm afraid I don't remember the opening time in the morning, but it's open until 10 p.m. now. And I've been eager to do an evening walk on the High Line. Stylish says somebody got rich. One of my frequent viewers will know I have a handful of hobby horses, like issues I care a lot about. I try not to get into too many of them. Public restrooms is one. One I probably don't complain very much about, or I haven't in a long time, is elevators and escalators and things in the subway system. And so I took the subway today to Hudson Yards, which is like a brand new, beautiful station. And it has one of the longest escalators you can imagine, but that's all besides the point. The point was it had an advertisement talking about how 95%, not 100%, 95% of the subway system will be accessible by 2055. Whoever got away with that scam. You have to laugh. Where it says full moon on April 6th. Ooh, yeah, it looked pretty big. Jonathan's here for the first time. Welcome. Chris said, was that a ship propeller? Yes. We read about it last time. Ooh, and as the sun goes down, the purple color's starting to come out. My beautiful wife, Lisa, has just entered the chat, which means kiddo must be fallen asleep as we speak, and asks, what did I miss? You just missed me complaining about or making fun of the elevator on the subway situation. We just went all the way to the end of Pier 76 to watch a little bit of the sunset, because our timing was just right. And now we're going to head back into the city over to Hudson Yards and get on the High Line. So, as you might imagine, there's probably going to be a bigger police presence. Since we're walking south, there's probably going to be a bigger police presence than we might normally see on our streams. Again, look both ways. They're supposed to yield, but they don't. And I don't want to wait, so we're going to hop across. Sorry. Woo! All right. So the High Line, there actually is a piece of it right here. It's an elevated park built atop old rail infrastructure here in New York City. And I think it's one of the best experiences you can have in New York City. So if you've never been in person, I highly encourage you to check it out. By the way, the rates at that parking lot we just walked by start for a monthly fee of $750. Oh, that stuff always cracks me up. Take the subway. Marty has to head out, but we'll be back to watch the replay. Hey, hope all's well. So again, if you just joined, there is a spur of the High Line over here that you can occasionally enter, but the sign we just read said that it's going to be closed for repairs until 2023 or 2024. So I've given up now on attempting to use that entrance until that time. Coolant says, agree, my new favorite place to walk in New York City. Jonathan says, that's why my brother doesn't park his car in Manhattan. Again, the Javits Center next to us, Convention Center. It's where things like Comic-Con are held. And this is the street that we're walking along right this second is 34th Street. So you could take it a couple more avenues over and see the garden, among other things. And continue along to get to Macy's. ER's here, good to see you. Ooh, what did ER say? Back on the High Line again. Stylish says the auto show's coming up. I always find it funny that they do a car show in Manhattan, which is probably the single worst place in the United States to drive a car. Always kind of cracks me up. British Grey is here, good to see you. Welcome. And if I missed you, welcome as well. So we are entering now the Hudson Yards complex. Tons of buildings. Very, very, very upscale. Equinox, which is a kind of high-end fitness chain here in New York City. Hundreds of dollars a month for the fitness club. They have a hotel over here, right up ahead on our right. And then on our left, the shops at Hudson Yards, really high-end shopping. But there's also some stores. There's an H&M, there's a Zara, there's a Uniqlo. So there's, you know, there's stuff for various budgets. I think they have to put that stuff in, otherwise it would be empty. And that's also where you can go to take what's called the Edge, which we don't have a good angle just yet for that. But the Edge is one of the super high observation decks here in New York City, which my wife Lisa and I quite enjoy. It has a section on it that is a glass floor, so you can see down, like, I forget exactly how high it is, but like 100 floors. Ooh, and it's super windy over here, so I apologize if you pick up some of the noise. This is the Vessel. Very controversial piece of art. At the moment, you cannot go up, but during the day, at least, I don't know if it's open right now, during the day at least, they let you go into the center of it and you can take pictures. And one time I was here, it did look like they were experimenting with new safety features, but I don't see them anymore, so I don't know what the plan is with this thing. I couldn't tell you. Ooh, let's go back to the end. We'll get a good view of the Vessel, but the sunset colors are even stronger. Tyree loved the Edge, yeah. It's one of our favorites. We talked about this before, but You know, sometimes if you want the best view of the Brooklyn Bridge, you have to go to the Manhattan Bridge. And it's the same with the Empire State Building. If you want the view of the Empire State Building, you got to go to the edge or a different observation deck. ER, yeah. And I'm with stylish 100%, so I just think they should raise the glass to 8-10 feet and just call it a day. I really have no idea why they're fighting about it. And it's been very unclear. I've heard mixed things as to who the problem is. Some people say it's the artist, some people say it's the developer, some people said it was somebody else. So I don't know who to believe anymore. But the simplest, and it just seems to me like most straightforward solution would just be to raise the glass. And it just totally boggles my mind as to why they won't do that. But hopefully, one day, sense will prevail. This is the shed. They do art exhibitions in there, and what's interesting is this gray section can actually, it's on tracks, continuing the rail theme, and this section can move over here. You can sort of see how it connects. Coulant says the typical New York City dispute. Exactly right. That is exactly correct. At a certain point, probably nobody can even agree on what they're arguing about anymore. But New Yorkers, we like to argue. So these are the shops I was talking about. From the ultra high end to more approachable stuff, I see a Lululemon camp. I see a Levi's store. But here on the bottom level, Cartier and Rolex. Chris says, have we ever seen the shed open? I have seen the building. I've seen it where that's open. I've never seen it move. I've never seen it moving, which I would love to see, but I can't imagine it goes very fast. But I would love to see them open it one day. Just peeking in from here, it looks completely empty right at the moment, so I wonder if it's, maybe they're between shows. Oh, have you guys seen this before? This is a clock. It is 25 past 7. That's kind of cool. It's called Clock 2 with a Q. I don't know what the Q is for. Okay, we can go peek in the shed. It's closed, but we can go read the signs. Yariomami Struggle. Art and Activism in the Amazon, February 3 to April 16. Oh, weird. There are people in there. That's interesting. There's like a lecture or something going on. That's kind of neat. Okay, I sort of have a view of the edge. Give me a second, let me There's some people up there. I really recommend that one. My wife and I have done it a few times, and it's a little tough in the sense that you want to pick the clearest day possible so that you have the longest view. the most distance, but I really recommend it. So we're entering the High Line now. Again, open till 10, now that we've entered the spring season.
It depends on the dog.
And I love, love, love the High Line. Highly recommend it. So all of this used to be rail infrastructure. Things would come in, you know, from the Hudson River, shipped in from other places, and get packed onto rail cars over here. And what's fun as we go along is some of the rail went through buildings, like all sorts of interesting stuff took place. Let me show you guys just quickly.
Oh, it's not.
There's the top of the Empire State Building. As we go farther down, we will get a better view of it. So stay tuned. And I apologize if I sound a little tiny bit different. I feel like I have some allergies acting up. We've been spending as much time as possible in Central Park, which is totally blossoming and beautiful. So again, I posted a video last night of Central Park, so please check that out. See the cherry blossoms. But I do think it might be tickling my nose a little bit. So you could see some of the rail lines. I just think this is awesome. And speaking of typical New York behavior, it was hugely controversial, as any new thing in the city is. But for me, it's like up there with go to the Met, go to Central Park, walk the Brooklyn Bridge. You got to do the High Line. And a lot of the buildings around it have done really cool stuff, incorporating art and different features to make it really interesting. There's some really interesting buildings over here. Very green at the moment. Not a ton of flowers just yet. Ariana says, where is this? So we are on the High Line. We're at, let's see, 30, maybe 29th Street. Just about as far west as you can get in the city. And there's the tip top of the Empire State Building. Ambrose is in the house. Good to see you. So there are, this area over here, they do sculptures, but the challenge with the lighting at the moment is this is one of the sculptures. There's a few of them, but they're like very thin metal sculptures. So let me zoom in a little and see if I can get you. You can actually see it. So there's a few of these sculptures over here, but the thin metal at night is very hard to see. Stephanie says it's a beautiful day in New York City today. Yeah, it's still chilly, I would say. But today there were like no clouds. And a lot of the blossoms are coming out. So we're walking from Hudson Yards through Chelsea to the meatpacking district to give you a sense of some of the neighborhoods that we'll see as we walk along. Ooh, there's a really good view of the Empire. So I guess we are signature white for the Empire tonight. If you ever see colors on the Empire State Building, you can go on the Empire State Building website and they explain what the colors are for. But tonight looks like signature white. What a nice view, though. Hey, Trish, thanks for joining. We're happy to have you. So this is kind of funny. Let me pause here for a second. Let's see if anybody does it. So right across the way, right there, is a pair of binoculars. Ooh, we're getting lucky. If you look through it, their eyeballs are going to show up right here. So it's so funny. It's a little art project. We see them, they don't look out. It's kind of creepy if you're like driving by and you saw a pair of eyeballs projected. Yeah, stylish. Stylish gets it. Hey, Christian's here. Good to see you. So again, a lot of this used to be industrial stuff because things coming off the ships would come in, roll around on the tracks over here, and be processed or packaged or whatever in some of the buildings around here. Lots of places to sit. It's really nice out tonight. So at some point in the coming weeks, all of these trees will blossom and there'll also be flowers. There's some flowers, but this whole place is going to transform in the coming weeks. So as usual, we will come back from time to time and see how it's looking. Cami G, welcome. Coming up to our tornado. Thankfully, this one does not do any damage. It's called Windy by Mariam Benani. Coulant is enjoying the lighting. Yeah, this is what I've been really meaning to come here. It's been a while at night. We've done it during the daytime. By the way, our friend Dutch, an amazing live streamer, Dutch Maz, he calls the building for the edge the duck. And now that he's said that, and I'll show another view of it a little farther down. Like, now that he's said that, that's all I see when I look at the building. The building also has a name. It's called like, it had a terrible name. It was like East Hudson Yards or something. It was some terrible name. Needs a cow in it. That's on my. I need to rewatch Twister. I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Ich möchte mir das auch.
Du musst noch viel mehr Treppen gehen, Papa.
Ja,
Ein
hier.
bisschen besser.
Stay true. Welcome. It's good to see everybody. If you just joined, thanks for coming. Ambrose with a very good question. When is 56 Leonard going to make Jenga official? It's so funny. If you go on Google Maps and type in Jenga, it just takes you to 56 Leonard, but it doesn't like, you know, it's sort of like autocorrect. All right, we're coming up on some of my favorite sites over here. If you know me, you know I love public art. But right here, this mural, I just love this. But before we I always almost walk by, but on the other side, there's a mural on that building. We'll get a better view of it farther down, but that's Andy Warhol and Frida Kahlo. And there's a few more artists that we couldn't see just yet. But I love this mural. Let me go back. I love this. So it's all symbols of the artist's first experiences in New York City. So you have the Statue of Liberty, you have the subway, you have the Big Apple, you have the dollar sign, you have the pizza, the pigeons. I love it. Show you the artist if you want to look it up. Nina Chanel Abney, New York City Love 2022. Let's see if we have a better view of our artists. So we saw, very hard to do this zoomed in. We saw Andy Warhol and Frida Kahlo. That's Keith Haring, and that's Basquiat. Trish says, Andy Warhol buried in a cemetery 10 minutes from me in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I didn't know that he was buried in Pittsburgh. D Dirty's here says, I missed that the last time I was at the High Line. This is the thing about the High Line. I guarantee you there's all sorts of stuff I've never seen. Every time I come, there's probably one new thing I see. Every time. At least. And that's not even including, you know, what individual apartments in some of these buildings kind of, whether they have a decoration or colorful light bulbs or whatever. God, you can tell it's going to get so much nicer when all the plants start to blossom. Oh, like here's an example. Chris saw a movie on Basquiat. We did a walk in Harlem. If you search our videos for East Harlem, I walked up 2nd Avenue where they have the Crack is Whack wall, which is by Keith Haring, which is kind of an interesting New York City piece of art. John Doe, good to see you. You are all beautiful. Whoa, ton of people down there. What's going on over there? Jehovah's Witness. Had no idea. Must have had a service. Okay. I try not to look into too many people's apartments, but we've seen this one before. And if you're gonna live next to the High Line, like this is how you do it, right? You put in a full projection system, you turn your wall into a theater. Like if you're gonna live by the High Line, that's how you do it, right? AC is here, good to see you. And this is where I usually turn around to show the Empire State Building. Oh, beautiful. Let me zoom in so we can get a nice shot of it. Beautiful. And here's our duck. I promised one more look at our duck. Do you see the duck? Does that look like a duck to you? This is so funny. Cammy says, holy moly, might as well invite everyone to stand there and watch. I mean, obviously they know, right? I think that sort of is the point. You kind of have to. So this is officially, what is it called? The Lantern House or Lantern Building? But to me, they look like beer barrels. They look to me like beer barrels. I don't see lanterns. But maybe that says more about me than it does about the building. FX, or Fix rather. Steve Gonzalez. Whole bunch of chats just came in. Vinyl wants to go up to the duckbill. One day I'll probably won't. I don't know that I would stream from an observation deck, but maybe I'll do a video. The issue is when you do the 100-floor elevator rides, you can't stream that. And I'm a little restless, so I can't stand in the observation deck for 2 hours. Christian sees the barrels, Cammy sees the barrels. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm not completely alone. Down there, artichoke pizza. Not my favorite personally, but it's very popular. It's very expensive, but the slices are gigantic. They're not the skinny little New York City slices that you might be familiar with if you've never had it. Ambrose says those elevator rides are super fast. Yes, they're very, very, very fast. Another piece of art. And as the sun has gone down, the building lights are starting to come up, so the city gets a totally new look, which I really love. Stylish says, I don't like artichoke pizza. I tried it. It's just really fat pizza. What I like about it is it's like big on flavor, and some of the ones I've had have that kind of charred flavor that I really like, but it's very expensive. And I always feel I feel really heavy after having it. So this is kind of interesting. You can sit here and watch 10th Avenue. And on like a really hot day when people are really tired, you'll see actually like this whole thing fills with people taking a break. Steve says, New York during the day is great, but New York at night is just heavenly. Cool Aunt agrees, the city looks all shiny and new. Christian, you always crack me up. AC says, how do you hang curtains on a barrel window? That is a great question. Expensively. Okay, if you do come to the High Line, and we're running out of time, I'm actually a little surprised this is still here. But if you stand at the spot I'm standing in, so again, you come here to the kind of 10th Avenue observation point. If you stand exactly where I'm standing, you're looking at two statues of Liberty, but not for much longer. So we'll see this one in a second. It's an art project. But our real Statue of Liberty is right there, and I'm going to zoom in and show you that you can see two statues of Liberty standing in one place. So that's 2x, and then let's go all the way. There she is. If you had a real heavy-duty camera, you could probably get some really cool pictures. And that's probably a little more fun during the daytime. But I love that. So let's go see this piece of art really quick because she's going to be gone soon. All the art on the High Line is temporary. It changes from time to time. I saw Suke checking in. She wishes the two statues would always be there. Yeah, I totally agree, and I love that it allows that moment of seeing both of them. So let's see, because it's supposed to be gone soon. April 2022 to March 2023, so it must be coming down any time now. I wasn't expecting we'd see it tonight. Ambrose says 3 statues if you bring a souvenir shop figurine. So what's cool about this, it always has a different face. I always thought this was a very creative idea. And so about the person portrayed on the current mask, Yael Yachty is one of 5 individuals whose likeness will grace the sculpture over the course of its installation on the High Line. an indigenous artist, carpenter, union stagehand, and commercial fisherman living in Anchorage, Alaska. I love it. All right, onwards. So we're now entering Chelsea Market, which is really fun. Lots of shops, lots of places to eat. And what you can do actually is go to the Chelsea Market, pick up something to go, and then there's lots of places to sit and eat around this area. It's really fun. If anybody's familiar with the Pearl River Market, they have a location there, which is really fun. But I'm a little sad because when I would come here, the one I would get the most frequently was called Num Pang, Vietnamese sandwiches. And I read a few weeks ago that all of them closed. And I never found an explanation as to why. And they also have one of my favorite sites, a sky bridge. I don't know why, but I love sky bridges. So on a summer day or on a really warm spring day, these are all little seats. It's like the perfect way to pass time. Just sitting there looking at the sky. You have Little Island right here, which I read is open till 11, so maybe we'll go to, we might actually go to Little Island next. And then the Pier 57 rooftop is right over here. So Google has an office in that building, and on top of the building they built a public park. So anybody can go, and it's not very busy. It's an amazing public park, so I highly recommend it. But yeah, maybe in a little bit we'll go to Little Island. I don't even remember the last time we've done that on a live stream. Really beautiful tonight. Fourteenth Street. So we're leaving Chelsea and entering the meatpacking district, which has a totally different architectural vibe. In a few moments, we'll be walking underneath the Standard Hotel. And one day I'm going to get in trouble because it has a history of people leaving the blinds open. And I'll let your imaginations fill in the blank from there. But quickly, I want to show you Little Island one more time. If we go over there, we'll talk about it again, but we have this perfect view right now. This is a landmarked piece of signage. Used to be the sign for the White Star Lines. That's where the Titanic would have come in. And that's Little Island beyond it. So we'll go over there in a bit. There's some plaques and stuff, so when we get over there, we can read a little more about it. I think we've cracked up Ian. Yeah. One day somebody's going to zoom in and file a report. It's kind of crazy though, we are directly underneath the hotel. Connie says, I love the entire view here. Steve says, check out that view. I mean, it's again so funny to me. This was so controversial. And you know, some of it is good reasons. I mean, obviously gentrification and, you know, you have a Samsung store, SoFi, Tesla. Like obviously prices around here have gone up considerably, so I understand that. But just thinking about the park is incredible. Here is one of the last pieces of art we'll see while we're over here, which I know at night some people find kind of creepy. Dan from England checking in, good to see you. And Prince Ice all the way from South Korea, welcome. Let's take a look at our watch, 8 p.m., so it must be 9 a.m. or thereabouts for Prince Ice, welcome. There's lots of upscale shops around here. Diane von Furstenberg, if you're into the whole wrap dress thing. Louis Vuitton. It's that kind of neighborhood over here in terms of the shopping. And this is the Whitney Museum. Modern American art. Really, really, really recommend the Whitney Museum. And all of this section over here, there's terraces. But we're coming to the end of the High Line, so we're gonna exit over here. Right beneath us is a Shake Shack, so you know, as is often the case in New York City, even in the most expensive areas, you can still find stuff that's a little more reasonable. The High Line itself is free, as is Little Island. Originally at Little Island, you had to get free tickets, and it was timed entry, but that ended a long time ago, so now you can just hop over there. They do have some events over there. They do concerts and stuff. And what's fun is, if the concert's at night, if you go during the day, you might actually watch them practicing, which my wife and I have done a couple of times. If anybody was with us, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, 57th Street and 5th Avenue, the Louis Vuitton store had covered the building in flowers, and I just wanted to show you guys really quickly over here. They did up the entire store with flowers. So let's just take a quick look inside. Dorg Rock, good to see you. So you know spring has truly arrived in New York City. Isn't that neat? Beautiful. All right, so let's, I think let's head over to Little Island. Let's head over to Little Island for a minute. So this is where we were. That's the High Line. I mentioned Shake Shack, and that's the Standard Hotel that we walked underneath. So all of this, it's all connected. And I've never eaten here, so I can't give a personal review. But this is a pizza spot, Simo. And let me tell you guys, the smell right now is phenomenal. Part of that is because I haven't had dinner. But if I were going to the Whitney and needed somewhere to eat, this would be high on my list. And it looks like they actually have a really nice outdoor setup. Love a nice outdoor setup. Ooh, that smelled so good. It smelled like Neapolitan pizza, you know, like super thin, like, you know, fire oven. Ooh, that smelled nice. There's Leela. Good to see you. And again, if I missed you, welcome. Thanks for being with us. We're going to hop over to Little Island next. So to get there, we actually have to find an intersection, which is going to be 14th Street. There's some others around here, but 14th is, I think, the best one. David McKenzie from Tasmania, welcome. Sabrina Fair. Marv says, go grab a slice, give us a review. It looks like the kind of place that's like the full pie. It looks like the place that's like a full pie, but I will get there eventually. I'll get there eventually. And I will come back with a review. Speaking of, I kept mentioning to you guys that it was on my to-do list to go to the New York Historical Society to see, they had a whole exhibition on Jewish delis, which everything about that I love, that a museum would have a Jewish deli exhibit. So I went on Sunday, and it was fantastic. It was everything I hoped it would be. It was kind of the history of Jewish delis and all sorts of artifacts, pictures, videos, different people's stories, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it closed on Sunday. That was the last, I went on the last day. But if you watch my Central Park video that I posted last night, at the end I made a slideshow of some of the pictures I took at the exhibit. So I hope you'll check that out. Indonesia's in the house. Love having everybody from all across the globe. Thanks for being with us. So we just did the High Line. And if you just joined and watch the replay later, we actually started by seeing a little bit of the sunset. Beautiful night. Now we're going to go to Little Island. And then who knows what's next. Oh, we missed the light. We'll have to wait for the next one. The only reason I mention that is the lights near the West Side Highway take forever. So again, this is Little Island, and it's actually kind of similar to Hudson Yards in the sense that it's a recent addition to the city. It's a public-private park. It's a public park, but it was created with private funds from Barry Diller and Diane von Fostenberg. And for some of the same reasons that we talked about before, very controversial. But I really love it. I think most people who go love it. Not everybody likes the design of it, but that's subjective. But we'll go in a minute and you'll tell me what you think. All right, here we go. Hopefully everybody's stopping. And again, we're going to cross the bike path where we have the right of way, but always, always, always look both ways because most of the time people don't stop. So just be safe, and it's a little darker, so of course I probably can't see everything. So again, this structure right here would have welcomed the Titanic had it docked in New York City. Let me find one of the historical markers. But this would have marked the pier for the White Star Lines. I think if you come over here, you should be able to see some of the historical markers. So it's very dark right now, so a little hard to read. But it talks about the history. That talks about the Lusitania. And then this one, the unsinkable ship. So this talks about the Titanic. So if you're really interested in history, it's a very interesting spot. So this is where it would have come. And now we'll head into the park. Little Island. So if you're visiting New York City and want to recreate any of this, right now during spring, the High Line is open until 10 p.m. And Little Island I saw is open till 11. Vinyl saw that wheelie. Prince Ice says Rose had space for DiCaprio. All right, let's come into the middle for a second and I'll try to give you I'll try to give you guys some bearings. So there's two entrances onto Little Island. We just went on the south one. There's a north one right over here. Right in the middle is a seating area, and there's food carts, which are open during the daytime, and they're reasonable. You can get snacks. It's not totally unreasonable. And then there's these sort of pods. So there's a kind of pod over here. Lots of beautiful views up there. And then down in this area, there's a little theater. There's a tiny little theater that I've mostly seen used for like kids shows. Like they'll have a clown or a little troupe. We're gonna head up here in a little bit. Has my favorite views. And then over here is the amphitheater. This is where they do like the big events. So we're going to take this winding path the whole way up. Wow, Lynn D has some serious history. My grandparents traveled on the Lusitania, thankfully not on its final sailing. Yeah, no kidding. That's incredible that you have a connection to that. Chris MG enjoys the design of Little Island. I really like it. It's very natural. You know, not many sharp lines. It's very natural. There's a lot to do here, even if it's just kind of lounging around. Let me show you the amphitheater. I see a lot of rat conversation in the chat. Did you guys see the ad campaign from the New York City Department of Sanitation? So for the first time in like, I don't know, I forget what it was, but like 2 decades, they've changed some of the rules around when you can put your trash out. It's supposed to have an impact on the rat population. But the funny thing in the ad campaign is there's a picture of a very cute rat with a little suitcase. Let me know if you've seen that ad campaign. Steve, really enjoying the views tonight. Yeah, it's spectacular here. And interestingly, somebody has a drone up above us, which are basically, as far as I know, illegal in much of the city. Maybe they have a permit, or maybe they don't care. Another view of the Empire State Building in the middle. So beautiful here. But we're gonna go all the way up to the lookout point. There's all these stairs if you want to take, I guess, a shortcut. But if you just take the winding path, they all lead to the same place. Cammie's never seen it here at night. It's really, really beautiful, very relaxing. And again, this, similarly in a few weeks, will be covered in flowers. So we'll come back in the daytime, you know, on some really nice weekend, and you'll see thousands of people. But hopefully we'll also see the flowers. Kendall never heard of this place. Yeah, this is Little Island. So if you go to the High Line, it's right next door. And I'll show you some views in just a second, which may influence your decision to visit. All right, did I make everybody dizzy by taking the winding path? All right, we're facing south now. Beautiful Lower Manhattan One World Trade Center. You can even see the Verrazano from here. And there is the Statue of Liberty again. Let me zoom in all the way. Hey, Shiva's here. Good to see you. Welcome. There's the Statue of Liberty. And of course, our friends in New Jersey, just across the Hudson River. Stylish says Little Island open May 2021. It will be 2-year open soon. And actually, I came on opening day. I have a 5-minute video from, I think I started the channel in like February 2021. So that was one of my earliest videos. So if you want to see Little Island on grand opening day, I actually have a video of that. There's a FDNY boat right down here. Hey, Joanna's here. Final asking, where's the ferry we took last time? We actually saw it at the very beginning of the stream because we started near Hudson Yards and then we popped out to see the sunset. And the place we popped out to was right near where we saw the ferry. So the ferry, the route takes it right along the water, right in front of us. Nightbot is very sensitive despite my attempts to loosen it up a tiny bit. But it does, there are certain situations where it helps us out. Let's get these city views one more time. So we did the High Line. That's where the edge is. So if you're sort of keeping track of some of the landmarks, we've been looking at the edge kind of this whole time. And then obviously the Empire State Building in the middle of the frame. John says this is a treasure. Again, it's so funny. It was so controversial. And there are plenty of people who do not like this park. They don't like the design of it. They don't like the whole public-private thing. But I think I'm with you. I think it's beautiful. It's very unique. And look, if somebody wants to build a park and pay for it, but leave it open to the public, like, I'm totally okay with that. And again, this is the park next door. So it's a Google office building. I think there's supposed to be like a food hall eventually. I haven't seen anything about that in a little bit. I think there's supposed to be a fancy food hall in there, but the roof of this is a public park. So if you go into the doors kind of right around there, there's some elevators, there's some stairs that'll take you right up to the top. It is a nice, beautiful public park with similarly beautiful views, but the thing about Little Island is it has the views, and the area, it's like Little Island itself is so pretty and unique and interesting. And soon will be covered in flowers. Okay. Where to next? I think we're gonna hop back into the city, away from the waterfront. We have about half of our battery life. Okay, so we're good on juice. Legs are feeling good, so I think let's head into the city, and maybe we'll head east. I think we'll head east. I'm not sure where yet, but we will see where inspiration strikes. John Bader, good to see you. Marzin's here. Everybody check out Marzin's channel. Recently did something absolutely impressive, which is the Great Bridge Walk. 32-mile walk across the bridges that go into and out of Manhattan. Absolutely incredible physical and mental achievement. All right, friends, let's say goodbye to Little Island. Let's head into the city and start walking east. D Dirty says it's got to be cold over there. So the thing about the waterfront is it does get windier than other parts of the city, but tonight is pretty mild. It's actually not too bad. We're in the 50s. It's definitely cooled off from today, but it's really nice out. So we're feeling good. We are feeling good right now. Styler says, I can't even walk a mile. Yeah, I mean, 32 in one continuous go is quite an achievement by any stretch of the imagination. Don't let anybody tell you it's just walking or something like that. Let's go down a little bit. We'll find, well, first of all, that crosswalk is closed for whatever reason. So we'll find we could go back, but I'd rather go down. So We'll find another place to cross the West Side Highway, and then we will head in and walk around Manhattan a little bit. Oh, there we go. Open daily, 6 a.m. So right now, the hours for Little Island, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And if you go right now, you really have the place to yourself. So it's pretty nice. Very relaxing and amazing skyline views. So I mentioned that this is the Whitney Museum. And even though we're here on the Hudson River Greenway, we're about to walk by a piece of art, which just after all this construction, I'll show you guys. How serious construction is going on over here. But there's supposed to be more public parks coming. Ooh, and Flowing Happy with the $10 super chat. Thank you for your live stream. Hey, Flowing Happy, thank you 10 times over. Always appreciate your support. Thanks for being with us, exploring this fair city, and making another very generous contribution. Thank you. So this is the piece of art. This thing that sort of looks like might have been a pier. Like it might have been an old building, is actually a piece of art. And so that's the Whitney, and if you're in the Whitney by the glass, like right over here, looking out, you'll actually see a plaque for this work of art. Now let's see if we can find it. There's a sign somewhere. There it is, down there. Those folks are going to look at it first. But we'll read it in a minute. Isn't that kind of neat? So it looks like next door will be another park. Well, let's go read about it for a second. David Hammond's Day's End, 2014 to 2021, stainless steel and precast concrete. There's the logo of the Whitney Art Museum. David Hammond's Day's End alludes to the waterfront's history while offering a new vision for the site. Hammonds drew inspiration from a 1975 work of the same name by artist Gordon Matta Clark, who cut large openings into a former warehouse on Pier 52. Hammond's sculpture precisely follows the outlines and location of that shed. I love it. And then it has pictures of what it... So here's the sketch of what we're looking at. And then this is what it's based on. Love it. I love stuff like that. OT, good to see you. Alexandra, welcome. Scott Briggs is here. Good to see you. D Dirty said, I thought it was the frame of an old building. Yeah, if you're just walking by, you might assume it was like under construction or getting torn down. But it is a official work of art. All right, so the next spot, should we pop out over here? Yeah, let's pop out over here. Okay, we can cross the street here. We'll have to wait for the light. I just saw it turn red. Make sure we don't get hit by any bikes. So as we work our way south, you have kind of so you have the meatpacking district, then you have the far West Village, and then it'll move into Tribeca, the triangle beneath canal. Oh yeah, Ian, that's on my never-ending to-do list. That is definitely on there. All right, those cars are stopped fully, and then these guys are stopping. So we should, yep, there we go. There's our light. All right, let's head. We are now off the waterfront in the West Village. Let's head into Manhattan a little bit. What is the red light shining on the river? Was it the W Hotel, maybe? There's the W Hotel, there's a Colgate clock. There's a few different things shining in the water. And Shiva heard the wait, the funny wait sound. Marcin says you need a destination, Mamoons. My wife and I love Mamoons. Mamoons falafel. Really, really, really good. They actually expanded a little bit. There's one on St. Mark's Place. There's one on the Upper West Side. There may be others. But the original Mamoons on MacDougal Street. We walked down MacDougal Street one night on a stream. Similar to tonight where I hadn't had dinner yet. And I was like, that restaurant's good, that restaurant's good, that restaurant's good. Scott Briggs announcing run for president on the Bagels platform, a bagel in every pot. Now you're talking. Ample public parks. Lots of public restrooms. Elevators in the subway system. And a bagel in every pot. That is our platform. That was funny. What are those called? One wheels? And the second person had a 360 camera on a huge selfie stick. Must be getting some interesting footage. Marv asks, how's the Corner Bistro burger? Ooh, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you, I'm afraid. This is one of my favorite restaurants.
Take an anxiety pill. Yeah, take it. I'll have
Just want to quickly show you guys. So there's two. There's Malatesta and Malparte. I think that's is that one? I think that one's Malparte. They're owned by the same people. They're Italian food. That one's a little, I would say like a touch more upscale, a little more expensive. And then down on Christopher Street is the other one, which I think is Malatesta. I might have the names reversed in my head. And of course they don't put the name on the sign. The one on Christopher Street is more like pastas. That one's more like, they have more dishes, like full entrees, and they have pizzas.
But yeah, so
But they're both incredibly good restaurants. And by New York City standards, very reasonably priced. Really, 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 really recommend them, and it's making me so hungry thinking about them. Hey, Wajdi's here from Tunisia. Marzan's vote is for the Baconator. We try to cover all budgets in this chat. But yeah, if you're planning a visit to the High Line, add Malatesta and Malparte, just like kind of save them in your phone. And whichever one your budget allows, I highly recommend. Prince Ice. We really are covering all the budgets here. Prince Ice says, talking about food, Costco recently brought back the combo pizza. Should I do that as a April Fool's gag one year? Review New York City pizza, but it's Costco. The East Harlem Costco. That would be kind of funny, I think. All right, let's head over to Christopher Street. We'll get a nice view of One World Trade from over here. MN likes the hot dog combo at Costco, which they have done everything in their power to keep at $1.50, I know. Funny story. The founder of Costco would always threaten, it's like their CFO. And the quote is something along the lines of, don't raise the blank price of the hot dog. Rob checking in from Ohio, where there's severe weather. Yeah, I know the country's really been dealing with a lot of really gnarly weather. Stay safe. Well, that was unsafe. Left blowing through a red light in front of an SUV. And that's one of those situations where I think the SUV would win. Howie says Costco also never raises the price of the rotisserie chicken, always $4.99. That place really cracks me up how serious they take that stuff. All right, so here's the other one. And this one actually does have the name on the sign. So it will remind us both names. Malatesta. Okay, so the other was Malaparte. There we go. So this one's Malatesta, the other one's Malaparte. Malatesta is the slightly more affordable one. You want like a carafe of wine, some pastas, and then some desserts. I love that place. It's so good. And then if you're going a little more upscale, a little heavier meal, you go to the other one, Malaparte. Ooh, Stylish having Thai for dinner. Marit, heading out? Hey, thanks for being with us. Thanks for hanging out. Welcome. Oh, I gotta stop talking about food. It makes me too hungry. Okay. Walking along Christopher Street now. And look, even like on these random streets, beautiful views. Howie says my brother lives over there in the archives building. And then this is where you can pick up the PATH train to and from New Jersey.
City and stuff like that in Bolivia.
All right, let's hop across. This is a fun neighborhood, but it would be more fun, certain sites that come to mind. Like the Friends apartment is not far from here, but certain sites they'd be more fun in the daytime. So I'm trying to think, I think we'll go a little farther. Like maybe we'll go towards Chinatown and Little Italy, which are just more enjoyable to see at night. That person's just full on ran a red light. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Unbelievably unsafe. Interesting. There is no poop ferry. Fascinating. I'll tell you guys a little secret. I forget, what's the name? St. Andrews, I think? Right there is one of the most beautiful, it's like a secret garden. Open during the daytime. Right next to Barrow Street. Somebody wants to do me a favor. Look up the, it's called, what is it called? It has a very pleasant name. Like garden in the something. Just drawing a blank at the moment. Hey, Daryl's here. Good to see you. Welcome. Barrow and Hudson. I'm blanking on the name of the church. We must forgive. We don't get a lot of sleep. Sorry. Excuse me?
You absolutely did.
Ooh, look at these. Pretty. I thought it was too early for those. Do we think they're real? Pretty. St. Luke's? Is it called St. Luke's in the field or something? Yeah, Ambrose. I think Ambrose has it. And this is what triggered it. So they must have owned this whole area, I bet. I think it's called like St. Luke's in the field or something. Ooh, that was like the quintessential bat sound. There it is, ER, coming in. St. Luke in the Fields Garden. There it is. Doesn't that just sound lovely? Anyways, if you go during the daytime, it's rarely very busy, and it feels like you're not even in Manhattan. It's a beautiful little garden. Nobody coming, nobody coming. Some beautiful artwork over here. I think let's I guess we'll go straight, because if we continue, there's some nice sights if we continue straight. Or my legs are pulling me left, east. Why are my legs pulling me east? Let's find out. We were on Hudson Street. But for some reason my legs are telling me to go east. Let's find out why. Houston Street, not Houston. Different people. Ours is Houston here. Subway station, you can pick up the 1 there. There's a Shake Shack right over there. That one's kind of interesting. That Shake Shack that's right there is one of the ones that has a test kitchen. So sometimes if you go to that particular location, that's where they try new recipes. This is Varick Street, by the way. And there's our light. The chat is picking up on things. Could it be a smell? Could it be a sound? Let's find out. Sometimes I don't even know. Here's Film Forum, very famous independent kind of art house movie theater. And one of the fun things they do at Film Forum, it's been a long time since I've done it, but on the weekend they used to do, what's the name of the thing? They did this thing for like kids where they would play old movies, and so you could see on a big screen. I'm trying to remember, like, what's one of the ones I saw? What's a good example? I'm trying to remember like the last one I saw there. Would be like the old version of like Around the World in 80 Days. Something that's kind of kid friendly, kind of adult friendly, out of print, not in, hadn't been in movie theaters for 50 years. King Kong. Like really interesting stuff. Really recommend that. Hey, Romachek. Long time, buddy. MN says Mad, Mad, Mad World. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, that's a good example. Like, kind of friendly for all ages, but the sort of thing you wouldn't normally get to see in a movie theater. Adam, how's things going? How's work? Should we hang a left and go? Maybe I was being drawn to Washington Square. Points, I think Marv said that. Points to Marv. Oh, Shiva sharing a piece of news that we read about that. They announced the astronauts to fly on the Artemis mission to the moon. I'm a huge, maybe not huge is the right word, but definitely a big space fan. Has anybody seen the Apollo 11 documentary that came out a few years ago? They found all this old footage, but what was incredible is it was like the highest quality footage you've ever seen. It was like pristine, high resolution footage. And for some reason, nobody ever took advantage of it. It just sat there. And these documentarians picked up that footage and made I mean, it just looks like it could have been shot yesterday. It's incredible. Anyways, Greenwich Village. NYU area, New York University. Specifically, MacDougal Street. And they're doing some construction, so I think we'll cross. Thank you. And definitely going to get very hungry as we walk over here. There's Monty's, really old Italian restaurant. Really tasty and historic. Next to it, one of my favorite meals, actually Kati roll. It's kind of fast food Indian sandwiches. So good. So, so good. Oh, we're gonna walk by Mamoon's in a little bit. Marzan was mentioning. Here's an Insomnia cookies. Insomnia is kind of a funny story. I forget if it was one guy or a couple guys. They launched Insomnia, I think they were like UPenn students, like out of their dorm room. And the idea was at 3 a.m., we'll make cookies and sell them to college kids for all the reasons that college kids might be hungry for cookies at 3 a.m. And it's expanded massively. And every time I see them, just like right there, there's a line out the door. Genius. Genius business idea.
Nothing to do with Anita.
So, Mamoon's right there, and then Cafe Reggio, one of the oldest restaurants around here. And we have the light actually, so let me mosey across. We just saw Film Forum. There's another movie theater all the way down there, which is IFC. Another small, independent, really good movie theater. But this one's for my wife. This is La Lanterna. This is my wife and I. This is our favorite date spot in all of New York City. And pre-kiddo, many was a night we sat in these little huts. But if you're an indoor eater, they have fireplaces inside. So now that we're entering spring and summer, not as interesting, but in wintertime, really romantic. And they have a jazz club, they have like a little jazz venue downstairs. You have to get tickets. You call them up. But I highly, highly, highly recommend that place. And over here, we are entering Washington Square Park. Let's go see what's going on tonight. Oh, is my beautiful wife Lisa there? Yes. Oh my gosh, look at the flowers. Marzan remembers Midnight Rocky Horror Picture Show. They still do that, I think, from time to time. And recently, was it Yo Ange? I think she walked by and saw that one of the Friday night movies was going to be Jaws. My wife and I saw Casablanca there, speaking of old movies, on the big screen. And there's a little peephole outside of IFC that, if you look through, points into one of the theaters, so you can actually peek in and see a movie.
Completely neutral. It's stayed out of it the entire time. And then once you started...
Look at all the flowers. Well, we'll have to come back during the daytime because, obviously, maybe I'll do one of my 2-hour Fifth Avenue walks one of these days. My gosh, they've covered the fields in flowers. Beautiful. Oh. Romance. Love is in the air tonight. And there's the iconic Washington Square Arch. This is one of my favorite parks in New York City. The vibes here, immaculate. Still feels like New York, still feels like college, still feels like the Village. It's all the things. Simon Davey checking in, good to see you. As we wander this fair city, let's go see the arch. And right through it, of course, Fifth Avenue, all the way to 34th Street, that's the Empire State Building. So again, speaking of landmarks that we've been seeing throughout tonight's walk, we started on 34th Street. All right, my friends, I need to let's take a look at the battery. Battery's good, okay. But your humble host needs some water. So bear with me. Let's sit for a bit. You're gonna hear the mic rustle for a second, but just bear with me. Ooh, and a Simon Davey, the 10-pound super chat, something towards the post-walk wine fund. Love your content, a great way to pass my insomniac time. Much love from the UK. Hey, thank you, Simon. Appreciate you. Allison, can we stick for the music a bit? Yeah, so let me point it over there. And I'm gonna have some water, you guys can listen. Here, I'll take the mic actually and move the mic for a sec. All right, we are hydrated. Let's see what I missed in the chat. Alasan, thank you all the way from Baghdad. Hey, welcome. Prince Ice feeling like it's in the park. Ian says the very end of Fifth Avenue. Well, we'll see. I'll show you a little more. Cammy enjoying the music. Yeah, I really like Washington Square Park. There's a guy next to me talking about ChatGPT. You got a jam session over here. It's just, it's what you'd expect. They're really good. They're really good. All right, so let me show you guys. So, through the arch, Fifth Avenue, and then check out this view. Ooh, hold on, let me wipe. Do I need to wipe the lens a little bit? Hold on, bear with me. Let's get a better view. I don't want that much glare for you guys. Bear with me. Hold on. Got a thing in here somewhere. Gimbal's like, what are you doing? Is that better? Oh, hold on. There we go. Best I can do. Oh, we just passed 6,700 subscribers. Hey, thanks everybody for joining. Love hanging on out. So obviously the fountain hasn't come on yet, but I bet any day now it will. But in the meantime, people skateboard and stuff. You can see even here the trees are blossoming. I'll have to come back. I'll come back during the daytime. Let's continue on a little bit. Got a little music break. Uh-oh, don't want to enter the bad luck spot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, walked right into the bad luck spot. Uh-oh. Look at this. Gosh, gorgeous. But yeah, if you take south of Washington Square, Fifth Avenue becomes Thompson Street, and you get that really spectacular view of One World Trade Center. All right, let's see where the legs are drawn to next. Let's find out.
And if they don't take initiative, the project will slow down.
All these buildings, by the way, around us are New York University buildings. So, a few weeks ago, we went over to Bleecker Street, and I showed you guys the Picasso sculpture. Not everybody knows we have a gigantic Picasso sculpture here in New York City. But I think we'll do something different tonight. This is the library, by the way, at NYU. Chanello's Tacos. Oh, everything sounds good.
There's a bunch of buildings, a decent amount of buildings over there.
Yeah.
Lisa did a little test. I could tell her test successful. This is like, what is it, Stern, I think, the business school. Lots of college kids out and about. Chatty Cathy's here. Welcome. If I missed you, welcome to all of our friends. And when we were in the park, I was pointing out, you know, the flowers, the trees, which will be a lot better to look at in the daytime. but I posted last night a video from Central Park, which like has really transformed over the last few days. Tons of cherry blossoms have come out. So be sure to check out our Central Park video from last night. That was not necessary. Simon, Lisa's in the chat. I think everybody's doing okay. We're kind of tired. But other than that, I think in general, we are doing okay. Yeah, Steve, I got to get my steps in. Let's check the old watch, see what we're doing today. Today we are at 17,000 steps, but some of that was before this walk. This is Broadway. Lisa says, tired with a lot of eyes. Steve reminding us to have dinner. We will definitely have dinner. Let's hang another left. West 3rd. Which becomes Great Jones. Great Jones. So we do about 2,000 steps to a mile, so we're coming to a 9-mile day. But by the time this is over, we should be over 10, I would assume. Sorry for the clicking. The mic cable keeps. I got a different mic that we'll try in the coming days. Just waiting for one more part. Ron Snyder, following from Western New York, watching the game in the Bronx at the same time. Hey, that's the way to do it. Coming up on Lafayette Street. I kind of want to be on this side of the street.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, we normally almost always eat together, but this was the first I could get out today. So Lisa has my complete and utter blessing to eat without me. All right, I think we're heading towards, I feel like the feet are drawn towards Little Italy now. Slight detour at Washington Square, which was definitely worthwhile. Definitely worth it. There's a firehouse over here, and it looks like, actually the fire truck's just about to come out, so we're probably gonna hear some noise. Mike Lewis, you missed them. They were all in Washington Square Park. kind of cool. Perfect timing. Perfect timing to see the fire truck come out. Wishing them safety wherever they're headed. So we should be coming up to the Bowery, which farther north is 3rd Avenue. So once you get kind of to the village and farther south, the all bets are off on the grid plan. The street grid disappears and it gets a little more complicated. So this is the Bowery. This is a good spot, Primi. Haven't been there in years, but that's pretty good. Italian food. All right, let's head east. We love a neon sign. Ian asks, have we been to the bitter end? Yes. Very enjoyable. Meliora's here, Mrs. New York. Glad you can take a little virtual visit. This is funny. New York City is full of parks, big and small, and neighborhoods often have what are called pocket parks, you know, where they take a kind of empty lot and sometimes they get turned into parks. And obviously it's impossible to see right now because it's so late and there's no lighting there, but that was called Albert's Garden. Just like little, tiny little park over here. So usually the community takes care of them, plants things, sometimes decorates them in interesting ways. It's a really interesting one. I was mentioning a video we did in East Harlem. There's a really interesting park in East Harlem on Pleasant Avenue. If you're into that sort of thing, check that out. Second Street, 2nd Avenue. Let's head south. Little Blue says, looks like a beautiful night. Yeah, it's really nice. It's like, last time I saw the temperature, it said 54, which feels about right. But it's Monday, right? So not a lot of people are out. Here's something you don't see every day. 1st Street. Let me hop across. Should we go see 1st Street and 1st Avenue? Let's go see 1st Street and 1st Avenue. It's like playing Battleship. So we're in the East Village at the moment. And then once you go past First Avenue, you start to enter Alphabet City territory. Avenue A, B, C, D. Some people have been on Avenue A and B and might not have realized it. If you've ever been on York Avenue on the Upper East Side, or East End Avenue, you've been on Avenues A and B. And same with Pleasant Avenue. They just go by different names. The Apprentice is here, enjoys walking YouTubers. Hey, thanks for being with us. So we're coming to a funny point. First Street and First Avenue. And Simon in the UK and any of our other friends in the UK, you got to make sure to check out Walks in Camera on YouTube, because Little Amal is in London right now. We loved walking with Little Amal in New York, so if you want to see Little Amal in London, check out Walks in Camera. All right, First Avenue, First Street. Should we go see the Lower East Side? I'll show you some delis, since maybe that's somewhere stuck in my brain. I went to the New York Historical Society and saw the last day of the. They had an exhibit on Jewish delis. This is one of my wife and I. That's our favorite, Russ and Daughters. But if we continue along Houston, we'll run into Katz's as well. But this is, I really like Russ and Daughters. Love the old school sign, and inside it's really fun. Let's go see Katz's. Martha checking in. Marv says subconsciously wanting Katz's. You know, you never know. Sometimes the legs, they know something the brain does not. John says deli equals healing. And Prince Ice loves the long walks. As do we, as do we. Super Friends was just here. Shout out to Fernando. So the if you watch our Central Park video from last night, what I was doing was walking across the park from the east side to the west side so that I could go to the New York Historical Society to see that Jewish deli exhibit. And at the end of the Central Park video, there's a slideshow some of the pictures I took at the exhibit. So I hope you guys will check that out. The little blue finds our walk to be therapeutic. Hey, thank you for letting us know. And sending healing thoughts and wishes. Oh, there's a Van Leeuwen. It's a kind of chain of ice cream shops here in New York City. And one of their things is they have regular ice cream, but they also have vegan ice cream that is highly rated. I haven't had the vegan ice cream, but the regular ice cream is very good, very, very good. So we are now in the Lower East Side. Totally different vibe, totally different architecture, totally different restaurants. Yeah. And everybody's in the chat still making me hungry. Yeah, we're probably coming to the end. Battery life's definitely coming to the end, so we're going to wrap it up in just a little while. So this guy can have some food. I wonder what? I wonder what? My wife had leftover pizza, she said. Ooh, we were talking about Keith Haring earlier. There's some Keith Haring art. Eve Shorts, welcome. Mike Lewis said this block used to be lit even on a Monday. Yeah, I mean, things are... You know, the city is still... Kind of depends on the neighborhood, depends on the night, how busy it is these days. Definitely busier, you know, kind of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But as it becomes spring, I think that'll change a lot in the coming weeks. Ah, Eve is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday. Wishing you all good things. Happiness is calling. I like the sound of that. Delancey Street. If Daryl's still on, this is where walking commuter comes some days off of the Williamsburg Bridge right over there. And free internet points to anybody who knows the movie Crossing Delancey, which we are doing as we speak. Let's take a right. Pittsburgh Living. Hey, good to see you, pal. At birthday breakfast, Clinton Street Baking Company. Oh, well done, well done. Orchard, here's the Tenement Museum. If you're visiting New York, but also if you're a New Yorker who's never been, the Tenement Museum is really incredible. So they have literally rehabilitated or recreated old tenements, and so you can see how people used to live in New York City a long, long, long time ago. It's really interesting. AC knows the movie. Yes, very sweet, very good movie. Love, 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 love. Oh, we missed a super chat. Hold on, hold on. John with the $10 super chat. Thank you for an epic walk tonight. Hey, John, thank you, thank you, thank you 10 times over. Thanks for hanging out with us. And the kind words. And the super chat. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the leg just... Tonight was one of those nights we really needed the exercise, I guess. Really needed to stretch our legs. To be fair though, I did not walk to 34th Street today. Took the subway. Oh, Chinese does sound very good. Chinese does sound very good. Okay, I think I know where we're gonna finish the stream. Coming to the end, folks. All good things must come to an end. All good things must come to an end. All right, let's see if I can get my bearings. The fire escape's cool down here. Lots of street art around here. I've learned not everybody likes it, but I like it. A little color for the city. Character. Pittsburgh Living with the $4.99 super chat. Thanks again, Sean, and happy birthday to all the April kids. Hey, well done, well said. Very generous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't feel like dealing with it. Dead Ringers starring Rachel Weisz. Oh, that's the Metrograph, so they're doing a premiere. Oh, I guess I've never seen the Metrograph in person. That's a movie theater. Dead Ringers, so I guess it's like a premiere. All right, folks, kind of random end, but here we are. I've been mentioning this to other people over and over again, and nobody ever goes, so we're gonna go. Anybody know the Balto statue in Central Park? So there was another famous sled dog. This is so random, but we're here. I don't have enough battery life to go where I kind of more wanted to go. So this is second best, but it's the best I can do. So in addition to Balto, there was a second sled dog, very famous, named Togo. And in this park is a statue of Togo. And mostly because nobody ever comes over here to live stream, it very rarely gets shown. But let's go say hi to Togo and we'll call it a night. Hey Nabool, good to see you. Right at the bitter end. My friends, say hello to Togo the sled dog. But what a blast. So we started on 34th Street, we went over to the waterfront, we saw the sunset. We saw Pier 76, new state park. Ooh, let's take a load off. Went and walked the High Line, lots of views along the way. Hey Swanky, with the Australian $15. Thanks, Sean. Been watching and listening while working. Hope you have a great night. Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. 15 times over. And what else did we do? It's kind of a blur from there, right? We kind of did a little of the West Village, a little bit of Greenwich Village, went over to Washington Square Park, and a roundabout, found our way on the Lower East Side. So we really pumped our guns today, stretched our legs. Let's find the final tally on the old watch. Let's see. 20,000 steps, 20,388 steps, but only 9.82 miles. So on my way home, I'll get the last little bit to get to 10 miles. All right, my friends, it's been a blast. Thanks everybody for exploring along with me. Like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, check out last night's Central Park video if you want to see the blossoms and the cherry blossoms in Central Park. And stay to the very end for a slideshow from the New York Historical Society of the Jewish Deli exhibit. But until next time, my friends, we've loved hanging out. Thank you for helping me stretch my legs, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Bye.